PA. And alongside him, number 11, Bill Johnson from Trinity, North Carolina. Row 6, number 75, that is Urban Carpenter, Rock Hill, South Carolina. And alongside him is Donald Norman from East Bend, North Carolina. Moving on to row 7, number 12, Bob Hazen from Dunmore, Pennsylvania. And outside of him is John West from Atlanta, Georgia. The next row we have Glenn Smith from Severn, Maryland. And outside of him, Phil Plew from Brownsburg, Indiana. We're getting set for the start now as the trucks pick up horsepower and head out of turn number 4.
21 trucks coming down the front straightaway.
And they're already dicing before the green flag comes out. And out it comes from our starter, Chris Hopkinson. We're underway with the Bobtail 100. And Luther Burton immediately moves up to second place right behind Gary Grissom. And going a little wild into turn number 1 is Bob Lashley from Houston, Texas. Hangs on to that third spot, but right now it's a 2-truck race for the number 1 position. And as we said, Gary Grissom seems to have the horsepower, and he and Luther Burton are pulling away from the field. I don't know whether you can draft in a machine like this or not, but those two are hooked up and moving away from 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Well, they say in the super speedways they can really draft a lot, but I think they're still drafting a little bit even on the mile here. The two we thought were going to be tougher out front, and we're getting out of turn 4 coming down for the end of lap 1.
Well, you take a look back to 3rd, 4th, and 5th. In 3rd right now is Shauna Robinson. Kind of hard to miss her truck. It's a big one. Well, she's dropped back a little bit. Right now, Bob Lashley there, and Shauna Robinson falling even farther back as Charlie Baker now moves up to 4th. So a battle 1 through 5, and they're coming through side by side and sideways, and someone up near the wall in turn number 4. Hard to see through the dust, and that's the way they do it here. They try to stay down low, but occasionally they'll get wide and high as they bring these 13,500-pound rigs around. Right now, the leader on the backstretch, and that's Gary Grissom from Indianapolis in that 78 Ford. You can hear those engines roar as they roll by here. Primarily, we're seeing a lot of Detroit Diesel Allison equipment and Cummins Diesel.
Yeah, and the Little Mac, he's also running. We've got 3 different types of engines here and a bunch of different types of cabs, so let's just watch them go.
Well, there's something you don't see every day, is a truck with the 13 on it going by, and that's George Blessed. He's out of the competition, really going very, very slow as the leaders go by him, and Grissom continues to lead here on the 1-mile dirt at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Luther Burton's trying to make up some ground, but really isn't doing it on Grissom, and they have stretched out their advantage a little bit on the 3rd place runner, Bob Lashley. Lashley in an 80 Kenworth, the Sierra Sid's truck stop. The sponsor on board that one. Now Burton's gaining a little ground through the turns.
Yeah, he looks like he's handling a little bit better. He's got a little better lines through 3 and 4.
But Grissom seems to have the horsepower coming off both turns 2 and turn 4
to
get that straightaway speed to pull out on Burton a little bit. Here he comes by now to complete another lap in this Bobtail 100, the Great American Truck Race. They're going for the Detroit Diesel Allison Cup. They've got a 10-race series right now, heading up to Canada after this one. Shauna Robinson going by.
She's running 5th.
She's being chased by Mike Adams, but the leader right now is Grissom, and look at the lead right now he's got.
He's pulling out, doing a good job. He's got the horsepower down the straightaway and running good through the corners.
He is really right now almost half a straightaway ahead, and the battle beginning to develop for 2nd place right now. Closing quickly on Luther Burton is the 21 machine of Bob Lashley. Now they're a little bit behind our leader, and they're just now heading through turn number 4 and will be sliding through all the dust. You can barely see them in your picture, but they're behind our leader, and they're coming up very closely. Lashley is gaining on Burton. Burton's machine maybe lost a little bit since that qualifying heat that he won so easily earlier on this evening.
Yeah, he ran away from the competition in the 2nd heat race, but he's being headed now. It looks like a good battle for 2nd and 3rd.
And still our leader continues to be Gary Grissom right here in Indianapolis, Indiana. And earlier on this evening, he let that truck out to A.J. Foyt Jr., who took it around here in under 49 seconds. The battle still continues for 2nd place. Luther Burton from Columbus, Indiana. And I don't know how a guy from Columbus, Indiana can run a Detroit Allison Diesel on board, because Columbus, Indiana is the worldwide headquarters of Cummins Diesel Company.
That's true, but he's doing a pretty good job.
Well, to tell you the truth, he's really from Taylorsville, Indiana, which is a suburb of Columbus. Luther Burton has done some NASCAR in his day, and also for a short time owned an Indianapolis type car, which he brought to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway a couple of years ago. So Burton, no stranger to racing, and gets a little help up in turn number 1 to stretch out his advantage. A slower machine in the way right now of Ashley, and he just can't get by there. Lost a little horsepower, and that gave Burton the advantage to scoot on down the back straightaway.
Yeah, the high groove is just not the place to be. You got to run down tight in the corners and keep it low, and you get caught in the corner high with somebody, and you're going to lose some ground. So,
well, Gary Grissom's catching some back markers right now, and that may slow him down and give the second and third place runners a chance to gain ground on him, although as in all forms of racing, the slower machines pull to the inside and let the faster machines go by, and they do give them the Passover flag here in the Great American Truck Race.
Gary Grissom looking good going into one.
He has really got that machine trimmed down, doing a good job. Burton now has the advantage by quite a bit on Bob Lashley, who's running in third. Lashley really getting tied up in traffic. He just can't get by him, can't find the open groove, where Grissom's having his way, but he's catching 3 back markers, but he's doing it on the straightaway. And look at him just power down the straightaway and pick up. Luther Burton's doing the same thing, trying to close ground, but he's about a half a straightaway behind that blue number 40 machine of Luther Burton. Just over 50 degrees here in Indianapolis on this cool night, but a great night for auto racing. And between the smoke and the dust, Jerry Sneva, it got to be hard for these drivers to see out there.
Well, I think so. The track is packed down some now, so the mud isn't a problem like it was in practice, but it is getting a little dusty, a little smoky, and the guys are running hard, so we'll see what kind of problems that might bring up.
And you take a look at some of the back markers and the leaders. Well, we got someone into the inside rail down in turn 1 and 2, but gets it off. May have just done light damage down there. And this is the way it goes. They'll get 2 and 3 abreast sometimes, even with the slow guys, and they'll do some bumping and banging. It's just like the NASCAR circuit. You wouldn't think they do that in these machines, but by golly, they get out there, they race. They got the roll bars and the push bar on the front end. Well, they go after each other.
Yeah, they got the best of both worlds. They got the covered inside front wheels and open wheels in the back, so they can do a little bumping, a little pushing. They got good-sized bumpers on them, and it's just who's the strongest and the bravest is who's going to make out.
Well, Luther Burton still trying to do some things out there. Gary Grissom continuing to lead. Still a strong machine as he motors down the main straightaway now.